So when I last spoke about David Coote a few weeks ago, when the very short video of him allegedly taking, well, definitely taking a white powder, allegedly being drugs, of course, when that came out, I said after that video, well, towards the end of the video, I should say that this situation is not done. There is probably more to it. Just going off of what the news outlet that I will not name, the one that has been fed this information, what they said in their previous article, which unfortunately I had to read to get the information for, because it was very much a breaking news story at the time. They sounded like they had more on him. They sounded like this person, this pal, as they call him. I guarantee they're not friends now, Coote and whoever this friend is. They sounded like they had more information on him. They sounded like they had more evidence, specifically messages. WhatsApp messages, I think, was the platform they were using. And I said this is going to come out most likely at some point. Whenever the news gets a bit slow, they're going to just put this news out. They're going to put this information out. And unfortunately, that's proven to be the case because last night, I would have done a video last night, but I'll be honest with you guys, I was really, really tired. I was down in Sheffield to watch my team, Sheffield United, play against Oxford. And when I was driving back up to Huddersfield, I heard on the radio that there was some news regarding David Coote, that there's more stuff that's been put out there now. So I'm just going to go over what this stuff is, what has been alleged, and where we go from here. Because I said that, honestly, after the previous video, that he's going to go. I mean, I even said after the first video, in fairness, this guy's going to go. There's no way he can stay on as a referee after this. And if there was any sliver of doubt about whether he could survive this in terms of his career, in terms of being a referee, it's gone now. This is probably in relation to his job, not just a personal thing. Like the first two things you can kind of, to an extent, you can chalk up to being a bit of an idiot, This, though, has real malice to it in terms of being a referee, in terms of the harm that he is doing potentially to football. I know that might sound dramatic, but let me just explain what's happened here. So basically, there have been some messages that have been shared with this British newspaper. Now, we haven't seen these messages. I have gone through the article, as horrible as it is to do that. I've done that because, I've got a job to do to report to you guys at the end of the day. And unfortunately, that is the source where this information has come from. Their source, though, has sent over some messages. Now, we don't see these messages, but we do see them in terms of what was actually said. We don't physically see screenshots, but we do see information about what was actually said. And basically, the long and short of it was that back in 2019, I think it was a championship game between West Bromwich Albion and Leeds United, basically Coote advised, well, the person, the pal, as it was, who's been called here, basically the exchange just goes as follows. So Coote tells him, yeah, really good. I've got a game against Leeds tomorrow. The friend then says, ooh, big game. We're still on for what we discussed, in brackets Alioski. Maybe I could join you if so. Coote then replies, haha, don't know what you mean. The friend then says, haha, well, I'm off back to in the morning, so don't let me down. Coote answered, haha, we'll see. Then, during the game, and this is referring to a potential yellow card for Alioski, Alioski then gets booked in the game. Now, I haven't looked at the game itself, but apparently Alioski's foul was a yellow card. So this isn't a case of just the yellow card coming out of nowhere. Apparently he did deserve a yellow card. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of bringing the game into disrepute, this is pretty bad because it gets even worse. Coote then later messages back saying, I hope you did as we discussed, as in putting a bet on Alioski to get a yellow card during the game. Now, apparently, Coote has not financially gained from this. He has also said that he, denies any wrongdoing here. He does admit, though, that this conversation did take place, but he chalks it up to, quote unquote, banter, which is the Richard Keys and Andy Gray defense, if you remember that, for a very different matter, of course. But I don't think that's any kind of defense, because you can't go saying, well, you know what, I'm refereeing this game, this guy's going to get a yellow card, I guarantee it, you better put a fiver on that, mate. That is, but honestly, it's match fixing effectively at that point. And again, you might say, oh well, that was a yellow card, he's not changed the outcome of the game there, and I suppose that's true, but he was very much hinting that he was going to give him a yellow card, and he did give him a yellow card. So you're kind of questioning his integrity there, really, as a referee. It's really, really bad. For me, honestly, in the terms of his career, this is probably the worst one out of the three. You know, I mean, there's like he says, in fairness, I think he says later on, you know, whatever the issues were in my personal life, I never let this affect me as a referee. But I don't know, this seems like it's affecting him as a referee. You know, more than hinting. It's one thing to have banter, like in the build to the game. Like, maybe, I don't know Alioski very well as a player. Maybe he got yellow carded a lot. Maybe that was a common thing for him. I don't know. But to then say after that, I hope we did what we discussed. I don't see how he can kind of weasel his way out of this. And then there's another quote here as well. Like, the person who he spoke to about this coup, the friend, as it were, the pal in this article, he did say that he didn't back Alioski for a yellow card, but somebody else did. A friend of his actually did, and presumably, obviously, you know, benefited from that because he did. But then Coote goes back to him and says, haha, he will have to share it with you then. Insider information. We've seen, you know, remember, was it Kieran Trippier? Kieran Trippier apparently shared the fact that he was going to Atletico Madrid. Then a friend or his brother or something put a bet on that, and that got classed as insider information. So he actually got banned, did Trippier, for a little bit from football. Just a couple of games, I think it was. But this is maybe even worse because, again, sorry, I'm just going through these quotes here. So there's another one here from this person. He says, my first contact with David Coote was online. When I got talking to him a bit more, I found out about his job as a football referee. I jokingly told him to give Alioski a yellow card in the Leeds game the following day against West Brom, so I could back this in the bookies. He sarcastically replied, haha, we will see. Just 18 minutes into the game on the next day, Alioski was booked. It was Leeds' only yellow card in the match. He messaged me a while after the game and said, I hope you backed as discussed. Oh, man. This is so bad. Honestly, like I said, this is no joy for me bringing you this. Like, the guy clearly has a problem personally. Like, if he's doing drugs while he's on duty effectively over in Europe, over in Germany, wherever it was, for Euro 2024. You know, this is a guy that has some serious problems. But this, for me, like I said, is the worst, because now you're really bringing not only his integrity into question when it comes to that, you're bringing all the referees down with you effectively. People are going to be questioning everything. People have always been saying the Premier League is corrupt, VAR is corrupt, the PGMOL is corrupt. It's a fix. It is not legitimate what you're seeing out there on the pitch. People have always said that. There's always been sections of football fans that have said that for years and years and years, right? That is not new. But now, those people have a bit more justification for what they're saying. I'm not saying what they're saying is right, but what I am saying is they definitely have more of a justification for it. Like I said, the PGML, they're investigating. This is a matter of urgency, basically. I don't know what they're going to do other than just sack him. I do not know what they can do other than fire him. I can't see how he can survive this. You know, you've kind of done a triple threat here. You've done, you know, an expletive rant against Liverpool, against Jurgen Klopp, which is obviously very unprofessional. You've got the fact that he was doing illegal drugs during a UEFA tournament, and now you've got the fact that potentially he is match fixing for betting. And this is the one that we know about. Could there be more? Could there be more that we don't know, that people have not wanted to talk about? People who are actually his friends, that actually want to look out for him, that are keeping this stuff under wraps. And our other referees do this as well. It's all going to come out in the wash, I'm sure. But this is, I know, again, it sounds dramatic, but this is the biggest scandal in the history of refereeing, as far as I can find. You know, this could be the real sign of, especially in England. I think, definitely in England, the biggest refereeing scandal in England ever, probably. I mean, you can maybe count like the likes of Calciopoli in Italy and stuff like that as being worse. That was more of a club thing, though. But yeah, I mean, it's terrible. And like I said, I don't know how he can survive it. But yeah, guys, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen to David Coote? What is your reaction to these messages? Because they are, in my opinion, these are extremely damning. They really, really are. And for any updates about this case, we will obviously bring you here on thefootballchronicle.com. And yeah, just have a good day, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always, and we'll see you very soon for hopefully a little news less like this, to be honest. It's just downright depressing, to be honest, reading this. It really is.